Hi everyone, I'm Nikki and you're watching Real Homemade Beauty. Today I'm going to show you how to make body butter. You can use whatever hard oils you like shea butter, mango butter. There's more luxurious butters like cocoa butter. And I probably didn't even say that right. But you can use whatever butters you would like. I will show you the percentages to use for your hard oils and your soft oils and a few things that you should put in there just to keep your body butter really nice. And also I will show you how to make it not greasy. So go ahead and put on your gloves and let's make some body butter.
70% of my recipe is going to be my hard butters and oils, and then 30% of my recipe is going to be my liquid or soft oils. With this batch I have chosen to use shea butter and mango butter. I have 17 grams of shea butter and I have 300 grams of mango butter for my hard oil. For my soft oils, I used 100 grams of calendula infused olive oil and 20 grams of jojoba oil and 16 grams of grapeseed oil. Also, you will need your fragrance oil. I'm going to be using the Acqua di Gio fragrance oil from Nature's Garden. It's the Acqua di Gio dupe, obviously, and it smells exactly like Acqua di Gio. I absolutely love it. You'll also need arrowroot powder or tapioca starch. These are the things, this starchy thing is what is going to help your butter to not be greasy. This just helps it absorb better into the skin so that you don't have a shiny looking, arm, leg, or wherever you want to put your body butter. So arrowroot powder or tapioca starch. I use arrowroot powder because I love the way it works. Also, you will need some vitamin E. I use pure vitamin E. It doesn't have anything else in it. This will keep your oils from going rancid. So obviously you want to use fresh oils that haven't been sitting on the shelf for a very long time. When you buy your oils, make sure that you know what the expiration date is so that you don't have, a few good oils and then one rancid oil and then bam, you're left with a rancid body butter. You want to make sure that you have fresh oils. So vitamin E, it'll keep your oils from going rancid. Use it. Also, I do not use a preservative in my body butters. I don't need to. It is an anhydrous product. Anything with water like lotions or moisturizers, you're going to need to use a preservative. But with anhydrous products, you do not need a preservative. Just vitamin E. I'm going to use the double boiler method. I'm going to use the double boiler method to gently melt my oils, my hard oils, so that I don't scorch them or end up losing all the good beneficial properties that come with shea butter and mango butter. So I'm gonna go place this on my stove and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so over here, I have my hard oils sitting in a glass bowl. You want a glass bowl or a stainless steel bowl, or just a heat-safe bowl. And you will put your butters into there. And in my pan here, my pan, what do you call this? A pot or a pan? Me and my husband always have this argument. Anyway, you get a little bit of water in there. I put enough so that, it's not going to evaporate out with the oils on there, but I just put water in there so that it can warm up and it will boil and it will gently melt the oils on the top. Where is the camera? And it will gently melt the oils on the top and it will take a little time. I'll tell you how long it takes whenever I'm done. I haven't made a batch this size before. And this pan is the pan that I use for all my double boiling anything that has to do with any of my products. This is the pan I use. It even has a little label on it that says, "Do not use for food." I don't know if that matters, but I just prefer to keep my product dishes separate from the rest of my dishes. Okay, so now we wait. I have it on a very low heat so that obviously, again, gently melts the butters. So I'll let you know how long this takes. We'll be back. I'll be back. Also, I have found that if you stir the butters while they are melting, it helps them to melt a little bit faster, and I will actually pull it off of the heat before everything is completely melted. There will still be a few little pieces in there whenever I pull it off of the heat. So I am continuously stirring here. There's a little piece in there that looks like a heart. It's just been a little over 18 minutes. So I am gonna go ahead and take this off of here. There's just a few solid pieces left. And I wanna make sure to, keep all the good properties in the oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove it and just stir it in until those other pieces get done melting. You wanna make sure to safely remove the glass bowl. Of course, use some pot holders. All right, I always wipe off the bottom of my bowl just because I don't want any water getting anywhere near my oils. Because if water gets into your oils, then bacteria and mold can grow in your body butter, and nobody wants that. Again, I don't use a preservative because there's no water in this. You want to make sure that your hands are completely dry before you touch your body butter. I have just a couple of teeny tiny pieces in there still, but I'm stirring it up and they are disappearing.
Oh, so with your percentages, you want to have 70% hard oils, 30% liquid or soft oil. My soft and my hard oils together equal 16 ounces. So it's a 16 ounce batch. From there I take 1% of my full recipe of the 16 ounces, and that 1% needs to be vitamin E. And as far as the arrowroot powder, you want to use 1 teaspoon for every 4 ounces. I use heaping teaspoons, that's why it looks like I have so much more than 4 teaspoons.
Okay, at this point, it's had a little bit of time to cool off, so I am going to put it in my freezer, and I'm going to wait until the outer edges start to harden up a little bit, and then I will pull it out and I will start whipping it. Okay, now my butters have cooled enough that I can pull them out of the freezer. So this is just about perfect, just about right where you want it whenever you're ready to whip it up. You can use a hand mixer. I like to use my whisk attachment on my immersion blender. Ooh, I left it in just a tad bit too long. But of course the baby was awake and I had to go swaddle him up. Bowl here. Yeah, hi, I'm back. I had to switch to a different bowl. I am going to go ahead and add my liquid oils. So I have my soft oils mixed into my butters, and I'm going to mix and whip them up. Go ahead and add my arrowroot powder here, just a little bit at a time so it doesn't all fluff up on me real bad. Now normally it wouldn't look all like curdled milk. But I left it setting too long and I didn't whip it right away whenever I switched bowls. My son woke up, so I had to make sure he was taken care of. So hopefully I can get all these little chunks out. Otherwise I would have to remelt it and re-whip it. I don't know if I'm going to have to remelt this or not. I can't tell if I'm getting those. I don't think I'm getting the chunks. I'll remelt it down and then re-whip. I'm glad I didn't add my fragrance oil yet. You can't leave it too long, folks, or you'll have chunky body butter. And nobody wants chunky body butter. So I will see y'all in just a second. Okay, so I'm remelting my body butter because it set too long after I took it out of the fridge in the first whipping. If you're constantly mixing it, it's going to have a smoother texture, and I want it to have a smooth texture, so I'm remelting it and I'm redoing the process again. Hopefully this time I will be able to complete the whipping before I am pulled away for the baby. We shall see. So I'm just gonna remelt it. It's no big deal. A lot of times, like, you can troubleshoot if you have a problem with your body butter. You can troubleshoot by remelting it and repeating the process of remelting, freezing, whipping. I'm going to mix it again, and then I'm going to freeze it, and then I will take it out and whip it. I don't want to leave it in the freezer too long because then I might end up with those hard chunks again, and I'm not going to continue to remelt this. I'll only remelt once. So I'm back and everything is melted. I'm going to whip it to get all this off of my little sticks here. What are these things called? Beaters? It's important to wipe down everything before you start. Clean and wipe down everything with alcohol, or at least that's what I do. That way there's no potential for bad germy things to get into my beautiful body butter. I'd hate to ruin a whole batch just because I forgot to wipe something off. So I wipe off even the outside of my alcohol bottle. I spray down a towel and and I wipe off the outside of my alcohol bottle. I wipe off all my dishes. I wipe off my counter space, my scale, my bottles. Absolutely everything gets wiped off. And spray down with alcohol. Some things I spray down with alcohol and I just let it sit and let the air evaporate the alcohol out. Or let the alcohol evaporate, however you're supposed to say that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and whip this a little bit. Now I'm going to place this in the freezer for about 10 minutes and then I'll check it after that. and if it's not ready after 10 minutes, then I will check it every 5 minutes. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled it out before it fully hardened. I'm gonna whip it a little bit, and this was after 15 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna put it back in the freezer for another 5 minutes and check on it after that. And I'm back. Okay, so I had it in there for about another 5 minutes and it cooled off around the edges and it started forming a ring. So I want to whip it and see if it's cool enough for me to start turning it into a solid. Okay, so because I whipped some air into it, it was able to cool off a lot faster, so it wasn't even in there 5 minutes this time. I am going to whip and see what consistency we're at. Alright, so it's cool enough now that I will just keep it out of the freezer and I will just work with it like this. As it sets, it will continue to harden, and I want for it to stay soft if possible. Sometimes you can't always do that. My last batch got pretty hard. I left it in the freezer too long because I was dealing with the baby. By the way, that little paradise music you hear in the background, that is him over here having a good old time. He has just discovered his hands, and so he keeps looking at them with surprise. Yeah, I'm talking about you, you know it. So as I mix it, it's going liquid again, but I'm okay with that because I think this way it's going to stay the softer type of butter that I like. So it's getting like pudding type thickness. I'm gonna let it set for just a little bit and let the cool air move through it. And then once that happens, it should harden just a little bit more so that whenever I whip it, it will start to get the consistency that I'm looking for. Alrighty, so I am mixing, I'm letting it sit, mixing, letting it sit, mixing, letting it sit, and mixing. Now, if you don't mind a hard body butter, you can let it sit in the freezer until it cools and then do the mixing, and then it will harden to a really hard body butter. I really like a smooth body butter, you know, soft and fluffy like a cloud. That's why I am doing it like this. So I am going to add the rest of my arrowroot powder now. It's not coming out. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get this good and incorporated and then add my fragrance oil. Oh, vitamin E first. I need about 5 grams in there. And fragrance oil. And I'll get this good and incorporated. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Oh.
Oh, this butter is so perfect. It's just perfect. I'm glad that I decided to remelt it and get those clumps out of it.
Okay, so stiff peaks, that's what you want. I always whip mine a little bit past that stage because I want it to be fluffy like a cloud, very soft and luxurious to put on the skin, if you will. I don't want to stop whipping it. It's so much fun just to whip it. whip it good. I probably didn't sing that right. People like their body butter at different stages. So, I mean, it's really up to you as far as how long you leave it in the freezer, how much you want to play with it. Like I froze it and took it out and froze it and took it out and froze it and took it out and kept whipping every time I would take it out of the freezer. And that is how I got this consistency. If you want a harder consistency, then you would just freeze it until, you know, for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, take it out, then whip it, and it will start to harden up and get super, super thick. It is still going to get a little bit harder than this. It won't stay this fluffy, but it won't get as hard as it would had I left it in the freezer and allowed it to completely get solid. That's another thing. You don't want it to completely get solid, because if it does, it is incredibly hard to even get your beaters down in there to start whipping. You do want there to be a little bit of liquid, soft oils still in the middle that aren't fully solid yet, because it will still harden up for you. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to whip one more time, and then I will start piping these into my containers that I have boiled and then sprayed with alcohol and let air dry. These things are hard to wipe off. Maybe if I take them off of here. Oh, I guess I could use that for testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Somehow my video cut off while I was filming the piping of the last few jars. I got 7 jars total out of a 16-ounce batch. So total in my oils, I had 16 ounces of hard oils and soft oils together, 16 ounces. And so my total end result was 7 4-ounce jars. I did whip a lot of air into it, and I tamped down every jar. You know, I'd fill it up about halfway, tamp it down, fill it up again, tamp it down. and continuously did that to make sure that the jar is full. I got 64 grams of product in each jar. With your recipe, just make sure that whatever butters you use, whatever oils you use, do 70% of your hard oils and 30% of your soft oils. Now, there are some specific oils that you can use that will keep your recipe from being greasy if you don't want to use the arrowroot powder or the tapioca starch. You could use just mango butter for your butter, and I believe it's hazelnut oil for your soft oils, and that will make a less greasy body butter. You know, greasy is subjective. It's kind of a personal preference, if you will. This little man is tired. I need to get him down for his nap. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please like, subscribe, and share. My Etsy shop is open, so if you search for Rea'L, capital R, Rea'L, capital H, Homemade, capital B, Beauty, Rea'L Homemade Beauty, you will find my Etsy shop and you will see my products there. I do have some soaps that are about to be listed on my shop. Those are the soaps that I've had on my Facebook page recently, like the lemongrass and the frankincense and myrrh. Those will be up soon. I just have to wait the full cure time to make sure that they're going to be good and work well for everyone. If I don't wait the full cure time, then the soap will fall apart on you in the shower. It'll get soft and soggy and it won't be fun to use. So after the full cure time, I will have those items listed. So go check out my Etsy shop. I hope you have a wonderful day. Do something good for yourself. Do something good for someone else. See you next time.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki and this is Rea'L Homemade Beauty. Today, we're going to be making body butter. I'm going to show you how to make body butter. You can use whatever hard oils. Go on, get. You can use.
Ugh, this is not working for me the way I want it to. There we go. Ugh. Spit up.